26th meeting of the Municipal Authority. We are just back from an executive session of the board to discuss privileged matters. And at this point, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, I guess I'll do the roll call. Maria Kane is here. Steve Mackel.
Here.
That's online. Walter Virginis.
Here.
Tim Kelly.
Here.
Evan Moyer.
Here.
We also have our solicitor, Mike Madron. Engineer, Dave Porter. And is Steve Neese with us online or? He's not. Okay. We have our able
Public Works Director.
Public Works Director. Thanks for being with us.
George, what's your last name? Sharitz. Sharitz. Thank you.
Everybody's had a chance to review the agenda for tonight's meeting. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we had a second from Tim. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. Nobody here from the public. So we do not have any public comment. Moving on, everybody's had a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting of March 16, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Walter. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Steve. Thank you, Steve. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Moving on. Treasurer's report. George, was there anything in particular tonight that was being highlighted? I know we have the audit to deal with, so.
Correct, but Steve did not give me anything that he wanted to bring up at that time.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Engineers report. Dave Porter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a brief overview. This past month, we discussed sewage planning capacity for the potential development at 11, 15, and 17 campus boulevards. Coordinated with the authority solicitor, developers council, also had a video conference call with the DEP to discuss the logistics of sewage planning and capacity with regard to that development. So the authority is aware the developer is proposing 50 townhouses and 192 apartment units on that property, which previously consisted of 3 buildings, 3 office buildings. The planning flow through 537 planning was 6,300 gallons per day. The anticipated flow from the new development would be approximately 40,000 gallons per day.
Can you say those two numbers again?
6,300.
6,300
Yep.
per day.
Per day.
For the 3 buildings.
For the 3 buildings, correct?
Yep.
And the new development would be approximately 40,000 gallons per day. A little
Okay.
over that.
Okay.
I've coordinated with the building director of codes with regard to on-lot sewage disposal system for 6 Boot Road. It's an enforcement action, provided some support and information with regard to that property. Discussed sewage planning for a tear down and rebuild at 3314 Sawmill Road, and grease trap review for 2 Munger Road. Also received a sewage facilities planning module for potential redevelopment of 2 to 8 St. Albans. That module was submitted on the 30th of March. It's currently under my review. I will provide that capacity certification has been issued. It's a matter of going through the sewage planning on behalf of the township. So we received a complaint at 307 French Road with regard to the trench that was restored as part of this sanitary sewer project we just undertook. I went out and visited the site, took some photos. I didn't see any evidence of trench settlement. So I'll try to reach out to the property owner and see if I can coordinate a time for them to show me exactly what's wrong. There was 3 cars in the driveway today. I knocked on the door, nobody answered. So I went and did some reconnaissance and took some photo documentation. My understanding is Public Works has notified PICO with regards to the issue that was encountered by more construction on Newtown Woods Road. And my understanding is we're still waiting on some quotes for repair of the lateral that's on Roberts Road that has the inflow and infiltration issue. The old Masters pump station previously had not had meter calibration. That was advised to DELCORA to add that to the list. They performed that meter calibration and provided the certificate on the 13th of March. And just continuing to provide support to Building Codes Department, issued capacity certification for the EV nail bar, which is at Ellis Reserve Sector 1, Phase 2D Commercial, Building C4, Unit B. They've done planning for 1 EDU. The water usage record indicates they need 2, but there's some reshuffling of flow within that phase. They're still within the allocated flow for sewage planning, so that was approved. Waiting on some information with regard to an animal hospital at 101 Squire Drive, which is also Ellis Sector 1, Phase 2. That's a different building. So once I receive the water usage information to substantiate that future flow, I'll review that capacity certification accordingly. And we reviewed and issued 3 public sewer connection permits. 1 334 Echo Valley Road, or Echo Valley Lane, 1 3551 Winding Way, 1 for 10 Campus Boulevard. And that concludes my engineer's report.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Dave?
Just to clarify, that initial project you're talking about of the 50 townhomes and 192 apartment units, what was the name of the address or the plot, or just for the minutes?
The address is 11, 15, and 17 Campus Boulevard.
Thank you.
I don't believe they have a name of the development. The plans do not indicate that. They just call it a proposed luxury active adult multifamily community.
Understood. Thank you.
That address.
Dave, just to thank you for this report. I think it flows much better. I think we can track it better, and we appreciate what you did for it.
Great.
I was going to say the same thing. So yes, I echo that. I really like that kind of building code and municipal coordination section. And yeah, just so much easier to read. This is great.
Mm-hmm.
Always open to any feedback, or, I'll try to make an adjustment as the board sees fit.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, moving on then. Are you able to give us the operation manager's report?
I can. What I thought I would do is just highlight a couple items from the DELCORA report, which was posted so you could read it all, but there were a few things I wanted to bring up, and then a few of the other items from previous meetings I wanted to follow up with you on. So DELCORA has continued to be maintaining the pump stations and working with the sewer pipes. They have a good handle on our system. I've been happy with them when I've spoken with them about their work in the pump stations. Just 3 items that they found in March that I wanted to identify. First was an easy one. They did the wet well cleaning at Tanglewood Pump Station. So they've been doing those according to the schedule that was set up. The bioxide system at Newtown Hunt was filled with the CES Zero Order Plus, which is the bioxide alternative that DELCORA utilizes. So that was done. The system's been operating well, and it's nice to be able to take that off of the punch list. I know it's been on there for a while. The last thing on the DELCORA report I want to identify is that on the 14th and the 17th of March, the pumps at the Camelot pump station went down and had to be reset. So DELCORA got the alarm through the system, came and reset them. They are setting up with their technical staff to come out and determine the reason for it. It appears that there was a power outage, but the power outage was so short that the generators never kicked in, but it was just enough of a blip that the pumps went down and had to be manually reset. So they are going to be coming in and investigating why they did that. It wasn't very long that it took them to respond to it, but again, it was on their report. I wanted to mention to you what they said their follow-up was going to be.
was it DELCORA that had to go and reset that?
So DELCORA did go and reset it. They got the immediate notification from the system and they went and reset it. I bring it up in particular because it happened twice, but it hasn't happened again since then. So we're finding out what that power issue is out there, and I'll report back on it once we have an
So
answer.
there's no functionality for a remote reset? You have,
There's not. They do have to go out and do it on site. Yeah.
Okay.
I did want to just mention as well, at the last meeting, Mark Dinley was approved to be the emergency generator and propane engine service provider. So we have facilitated that paperwork. They are scheduling to come out and do those maintenance projects based on when the last time it was done by the previous company. So they didn't want to do it too early. They're scheduling within the next couple months to do that. And then I'll just close with more construction. I know you saw their invoice, so you can see how many linear feet they've done. They're nearing the completion of the project that was approved by the authority. Once that complete report is done, the engineer and Public Works will review everything that they found. Again, the only major thing they found thus far was the issue on Newtown Woods, which we're going to be working on. Other than that, the system has been good. They've cleaned it and they've been televising it, but we'll look at the comprehensive report once it's in.
What percentage of the lines so far?
Well, they were doing, I think, 23,500 feet, and thus far, we have been billed for about 15,000 feet. But that was at the end of March. When they stopped in at one point, they told me that they were nearing completion. So they've been doing a few thousand at a time.
Gotcha. Okay, that's great. All right, anything else? Any
No,
questions? for
other than you
George?
have questions.
thank you, George.
Okay.
Good.
All right, we're
Great.
moving on then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Consider approving the bills on check register dated April 2026 totaling $275,000.22. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Walter.
Second.
Second from Tim. Any questions or comments?
Nope.
All those in
Nope.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, consider ratifying the reoccurring bills paid on check register dated April 13, 2026 totaling $6,684.11. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Walter.
Second.
Second.
From Tim. Any questions or
Steve,
comments? Sorry, Steve.
Steve, get the next one.
No worries. No
Go
worries.
ahead,
You
buddy.
take it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, consider ratifying the reoccurring bills paid on check register dated April 15, 2026 totaling $2,570.94. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Walter. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second is for you, Steve. All right. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Next, consider ratifying a bond payment totaling $1,067,207.31 to TD Wealth Management for the Sewer Revenue Bond Series 2018. This was tabled from our last meeting of March. What was our last meeting? Whatever it was, March 18th.
March.
I think.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Walter. Is there a second? I'll second it.
Second.
I beat you to it, Steve. Any questions or comments on this one?
No.
No.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. There's nothing under number 11, so I'm just going to move on from that. I don't know if that was just sitting there for developer bond release. I don't know. Next, consider appointing Steve Neese as the right-to-know officer and operations manager.
So
I
moved.
guess this is just to replace Caitlin,
Yes.
who was, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Tim has made the motion. All right, second from Walter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, consider approving Hunter's Run penalty waiver request from recent sewer bill. Do I hear a motion on that? There's a document in the packet. And it is, I think it should state the amount, I think it's $1,451.68. Oh, maybe that's on the back.
No.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Moving to consider it.
Yes,
So
we're not,
It's best to get a motion in a second and then discuss, and then, that it doesn't bind you to vote.
Okay, I move to consider the letter.
Second.
second from Walter. Questions or comments?
My assessment was that the authority didn't make any mistakes. I didn't see that in the letter. And because of that, I'm not necessarily inclined to approve a waiver of the amounts due for penalty, unless anybody saw something that I did.
I tend to agree with that. I think, what's our policy on giving fee waivers? Do we have one?
I know that we've done a second meter policy. I don't think we did a fee waiver policy, particularly, this is a sort of.
Yeah, do you believe we need a fee waiver policy? No, you don't, okay, then any other questions for
That's a
anyone?
case by case sort of thing. I do want to make sure that, got a motion in second, right? So
Yeah.
everybody got to call the question.
Yeah, I gotcha. So I'm just making sure everybody, Steve, do you want to comment at all?
No, I agree. I totally agree.
That you're not, okay. Well, I guess it's just more like any questions about the letter, everybody understood the letter.
Yes.
Didn't really quite understand what the argument was in favor of it. So is everybody ready to take a vote?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, all those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? Say nay.
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 Motion does not pass. Okay, moving on. Consider approving an extension of up to 1 month for temporary employee assistance with the municipal authority finances. And if we could add the same limitation that we had on last month's, not to exceed, was that a 1 month?
That's what we said.
I think one extended, maybe not a month, so that's. Move it to next one.
Okay. Through the next authority board meeting at the same maximum amount that we had approved,
Yeah.
the initial. Okay. All right, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Tim.
Second.
Second from Walter. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, consider approving the 2023 audited financial statements and authorizing staff to post it as required and to the municipal authority webpage. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second from you, Steve.
Yes.
Okay, any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, moving on. Consider approving a one-time insert with the second quarter sewer bills at a cost of $500. Reminding residents of the new express bill pay by phone and other convenient ways to pay their sewer bill. Is there a motion?
I think we need to figure out if we're able to handle those payments. Because I think we've had instances where people come to us and say, we want forgiveness of a penalty because we paid electronically, but somehow it didn't get recognized.
Yeah,
So I don't know that we need to ask Steve Neese if there's procedures, to post those and how that.
yeah,
that
I think
handling is.
I'm kind of thinking we do need more information on this. I didn't like the motion the way it read. I don't know, George, if you had any more information on this, but it just seems to me I don't understand it well enough.
I didn't. I mean, I certainly looked at the insert and I understand what it's saying, but I didn't have a lot of insight because I don't normally operate with the finance department with it.
Yeah, so I think my recommendation would be that we table this until the next meeting.
I agree.
Okay, so moving on. And Steve Mackerel, you okay with that?
Yes. 100%. Yes.
All right, we're tabling that matter. And we'll request that Steve provide additional information. Okay, consider approving the Marple Newtown intermunicipal agreement for shared sewer services that is currently under
There's a development called Village at Four Seasons going in off Media Line Road, and some Newtown residents are gonna flow into Marple's system. 4 directly into a trunk line and then 8 through lines that'll ultimately be owned by the municipal authority. So we have the framework of this agreement in place, and I'm working with Marple Solicitor first, and then we'll bring it to Rich afterwards. So we don't want to hold the developer up another month because they need this to proceed to work on planning module issues and that sort of thing. So the request is that you consider approving it subject to my approval.
Okay, all right, so should be a motion. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to consider it subject to final legal review approval.
Okay,
Second?
second from Walter. Any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Moving on, any old business? I don't think so. Any other business for the good of the order?
No.
No? All right, with that, I'll adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Sure thing. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.